Hello all, this is Chaos Banshee. This is my first video, and I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, like and subscribe for more content. I will be doing this weekly. Enjoy. When I was maybe 10 or 11, I was homesick from school, and was on the couch watching TV when the doorbell rang. It was the mailman, who told me that we had gotten a package, but it was too big and he needed help carrying it. I wasn't that old, but I knew right away something was wrong. I asked him where his truck was, because I didn't see it parked out front. He kept telling me it was around the corner. I asked him why the regular mailman wasn't here, and I was told he was visiting family. He kept telling me to open the front door, but I politely told him that I wasn't feeling well and I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I told him we would pick up the box from the post office, and he was telling me how much of a hassle that would be, and how my mom would want me to do her this favor. I told him that I would come outside, but I had to get my shoes on from upstairs first. I closed the front door and locked it. Then I ran through the house and locked the back door, and called my neighbor who worked from home. She was a close family friend, and I called her up screaming into the mic that she had to come over right now. Then, I stood at the locked front door and stared at the man through the window in the door. He saw me staring and yelled through the door asking if I found my shoes, so I yelled to him that I called my neighbor to help carry it because she's older and stronger. He just turned around and ran. They never caught him. I always wonder if he ever managed to trick some other kid. I was driving a shortcut from 29 Palms, California to Albuquerque, New Mexico. 29 Palms is located in the desolate high desert of East LA. The shortcut was all two-lane road through total nothingness, except for passing through Amboy, California. Amboy is a nearly abandoned town nearly as far below sea level as Death Valley, with a dormant volcano and lava field on one side and a salt flat on the other. It was also, at the time, a hotspot for satanic group activity. So I was driving by myself in the afternoon. I stopped in Amboy and snapped a picture of the city sign just to prove I was there to friends. I got back in my car and proceeded to drive up into the mountain range between Amboy and I-40. Once I reached the top, I am driving north through a canyon with high grass on both sides of the road. Up ahead, I see some stuff in the middle of the road. As I approach, I slow down to see a red Pontiac Fiero stop sideways across both lanes. A suitcase open with clothes scattered everywhere, and two bodies laying face down. It was a man and a woman. I stop 100 feet or so away, and the hair on the back of my neck starts standing up. Being a Marine, I reach under the seat and pull out a 9mm pistol and chamber around. Something seemed very wrong. It looked too perfect, as if it were staged. An ambush? Was I being paranoid? Something was just wrong. Getting out of the car seemed unthinkable. It was the horror movie move. As I scanned the road, I saw a line I could drive, past the guy in the road on his left, swerve to the right side of the woman, behind the Fiero, and I'd be on the other side. I dropped it into first gear, punched it, and drove the line I planned. I passed the back of the Fiero without hitting it or either of the bodies in the road. I continued forward a couple 100 feet and slowed down so I could breathe and let my heart slow down. As I looked up into the rearview mirror, I saw that the two bodies had gotten up to their knees, and 20 or so people emerged from the tall grass on either side of the road by the car and bodies. At that moment, my right foot smashed the gas pedal to the floor and did not let up until I had to slow down for the I-40 East on-ramp. I will never know what would have happened to me if I had gotten out of the car to check on the bodies or stopped my car closer to them. Somehow I do not think it would have been good. Sometimes real life can be scarier than a movie. Once, when I was still too young to drive, my mom came to pick me, my sister, and our friend up from a concert at a local bar. It was around 2 a.m. as we were driving back to our neighborhood, which was in the middle of nowhere. There weren't any streetlights near our neighborhood, or really for a 5-mile span around where we lived, so it was always pitch black. We're driving along this street when we come up over a hill and my mom starts slowing down. Naturally, we start asking her why we're slowing down, and she points ahead to the road at the bottom of the hill, and she tells us she's trying to figure out what happened up ahead. We look, and all I can see is this huge mass of people blocking the road. Someone had even a torch. My mom slows down almost completely and starts flickering her lights, hoping they'll move, but they don't. So she did a quick U-turn and went a different way. To this day, I still have no idea what those people were doing. I lived in an old farmhouse that was over 150 years old in the 1990s, and at some point had been used as headquarters for Union troops in northern VA. Lots of creepy stuff happened there, but this was the shortest story I've got. The house had a stone cellar, divided into 2 rooms, and it always made me uncomfortable going down there to get anything from my parents. One day I was asked to find some menial object that was in the cellar, and I knew it would be in the room with the boiler in it. The room that also had a dysfunctional light. So I made my way into the basement, and lo and behold, the damn light wouldn't turn on. But the object I needed was within the frame of light, reaching into the blackness of the room through the doorway. So I walked a few steps into the room, grabbed the object, and randomly glanced around. In the corner of the room was a dark shadow about 6 feet in height, and humanoid in shape. No worries though, my dad kept his 6-foot-tall John Wayne cutout in the basement, so that had to be it. I calmly turned around to the left and nearly jumped out of my damn skin as I came face to face with John Wayne, just inside the doorway and leaning against the wall. I spun on my heels and stared into an empty corner where the dark shadow had been only moments before, and sprinted out of that cellar. I refused to go down into the basement for at least a month after that happened.